Okay. Okay. Do. Okay, I think maybe we are live. If this explodes for the third time, I will just quit for today. I don't know. It's kind of unstable. So yeah, let's see how it goes. But if I can, I would like to finish this picture live with you watching. So let's see how it goes. Okay, let's just get back my reference photo, and let's do this. Okay. Okay, and I need your chat here somewhere. Okay, so if you have any questions you want me to talk about, just feel free to ask, and let's see if this crashes again. I hope it doesn't. Okay, so I have these wooden parts here, and I also make another one here. I want to keep this on separate layers so I can make a nice kind of wood texture underneath without just having to think about like and be careful about this part. Normally I would do the wood texture first and then I would paint this like sticking out parts after with if I would be painting with poster colors or something like that, but yeah. Okay, I got a message that I'm streaming live. What the hell? You probably saw it. Okay. 今 YouTube からメッセージが来て僕がストリーミングしてるって。あ、そう？うん。らしい。うんうんうん。So we restarted the router and the PC and my Mac and connected everything up again. So let's see if it helps. Okay, so I have the wooden parts here. I don't like this. Like, it has a dimple. I don't like dimples. Okay, so like this. When was the first time you started doing digital art? It was probably when I was in my high school kind of thing. And I was doing my my first digital comic, and it was like an online comic on the internet, but how do you call it? I was doing the lines with my pen, and I was doing the colors with the mouse. So that was yeah, digital, but not like 100% digital. And then I got my first tablet, which was like one probably made somewhere really cheap, and it was resold in Poland. It was called Pentagram. It was a really kind of cheap thing. It had a battery like a just usual cell in the pen. So that was not really nice because it was heavy and was really clunky, and it was not really good for anything actually. But I used it to paint the my comic, and I was really happy to be able to do that. So I have and from that time I was doing stuff with this tablet, but then I got like scouted, let's say, by the Wacom guys, because they wanted someone to be able to show to people what the tablet is for. So they were taking me to all kinds of events in Poland, so I can show people, mostly like photo editors and stuff like that, to what you can do with a Wacom tablet. So I was like having the opportunity to be able to use all kinds of new tablets, even sometimes before they were released to the public. I had the big Cintiq tablet in my home for like 2-3 weeks before it was even like started being sold in Poland. So that was really interesting. So yeah, that was like the time I started to do a lot of digital art. But I was also doing some watercolors as a like a hobby. But I knew that if I want to like support myself, especially in Poland, my biggest chance was to do art digitally and do stuff that would be kind of possible for people to buy, to use. So digital was the way to go, probably. Okay, I will use this brush a little bit more and do the same kind of texture here. I like this brush. I actually modified it a little bit, so it makes this kind of nice brushy kind of streaks, and it looks really good for wood texture. Okay. And on top of that, I will add a little bit of marks with the brush I use the most for this picture, to make it more like hand painted, so it's not so stiff. If you leave it only with the texture from a like textured brush, it looks really digital, so I try to avoid it. This looks okay. I'll erase this shadow for now. I'll add it later. And I want to make a little bit more highlights here, so I'll choose a color and do like in some places. It's important to remember that for stuff like this kind of wooden part here, or tiles on a wall or something, they are not perfectly aligned, so they reflect the light with different kind of direction. So if you see them, some are highlighted more, some are highlighted less, and the guy gives this kind of wall a more organic kind of feel. Hello. That was a strange hello, probably. I was trying to start this stream earlier today, but I had a small kind of interview thing for a magazine that will be how do you call it, gave out for free for those of you who come to Tokyo. So that was kind of interesting. It's called Time Out Tokyo. and because I'm drawing a lot of Tokyo in my Tokyo Storyfront series, they wanted to know a little bit more about stuff. But I really want to finish this picture because apparently a lot of you liked it. So, and I like it actually also. Mm, more than I expected actually. So it's nice. How did you find your drawing style? Oh, I think my drawing style right now is kind of an amalgam, you say, of various artists that I like and I saw over the years. Um, the list of the artists I like kind of changes. Okay, I'll re-upload the code. Can you write me an email so I don't forget about this after I finish this stream? You can find my email address, or you can write me a message on Patreon, so um, I don't forget about this. So I think my style has a lot of uh, things kind of stolen from like Studio Ghibli or other like artists that I follow on the internet, and I think that um, their drawing style is awesome. So I try to kind of analyze what makes their drawings awesome and kind of incorporate that to my art, like everyone probably. So sometimes the art kind of develops, my art style kind of developed not naturally, like a kind of うんねちょっとこれをピーってする。これでいいかな。Bardzo dziękuję. I learned Japanese when I came to Japan to study at the university, and I had to learn Japanese fast for my university studies. So I learned Japanese in a foreigners center at Kobe University. They taught us Japanese like in a kind of course over 4 months or something, so we can take part in our proper lessons in the university that I was supposed to go to. So that was kind of fast. So I did not understand everything, but it was enough for me to kind of start on it. What are the tips for beginners with digital art? When I was that okay, so my first tip is don't use opacity if you don't know what you're doing. So opacity of a brush, don't touch it. It's better if you don't use it. It's better if you kind of know what you're doing and you don't have to use it. Also, don't use effects like setting layers to multiply and overlay, or like saturation or screen, if you don't have to and if you don't know what you're doing again. I think that I did this mistake a lot. I used a lot of like effect layers and making shadows with multiply or darken, and without actually knowing what I was doing. So I would recommend avoiding this, and also I would recommend using just really simple brushes in software. Like here I'm using like really regular round brush only. So this is one of the advice I would give to myself when I was starting on digital art. uh, just if you are painting with poster colors or gouache or something, you don't have multiply layers to play with. But even though you don't have those, there are people that do awesome art and realistic paintings. If you think about it, if you know what you're doing, you can paint anything with just simple brushes and simple techniques. And it's better actually, because it's harder to make something look unrealistic and digital, really digital kind of, uh, when you're using those. Also filters, like, I don't know, using a lot of filters. I sometimes use like hue saturation to correct something if it's like not the color I wanted, but that's mostly it here. Or sharpen a little bit something. I went to Kobe University for my Japanese studies. So I studied Japanese language there for like 4 months. And then I went to Kobe Design University, which was the proper university I was supposed to be going to. あ、日本語。呼んでくれる？ありがとうございます。僕はまだ読めないんだけど。I cannot read kanji if it's like straight before my face. I have to use like digital tools to read kanji, because I did not pay enough attention at the language course, and I just cannot remember them. I don't know. Okay. And this part is kind of dark, so I'll try to use colors that I already have in this picture. Thank you. I try to use colors that are already in this picture, so I don't make things that look like really weird. Maybe a little bit darker here at the end. What time is it in Japan? It's 7:30 p.m. So kind of late-ish. Not so late. Are you familiar with Paint Tool Sai? Not really. I heard about it, but I did not use it. Mostly because when it was kind of starting to be popular, I already was using a Mac, so I did not have like the environment to kind of test it properly and start to play with it. From what I can remember, it's only for Windows. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. Okay. No. Okay. This song is a song by Scott Buckley, and he makes music, like open source music, that I use often in my YouTube videos. So you can listen to his music in my videos, and I have his name on the end of each of my videos. So if you want to see his website, he does a lot of like Creative Commons music that you can use for free for your projects, which is awesome. I support him on Patreon, so if you like this music, you can also support him on Patreon. No, this is from observation. Actually, I took a few photos when we went to Kanazawa, right? Kanazawa やね。これが。So I took a few photos when we went to Kanazawa, and I'm looking at those photos and try to recreate the place, but I took photos that were mostly vertical, so I'm not using this as a reference for how things of size or something. I just use it as a reference of looks. Okay. And the wall here. Thank you. I'm trying to do something here that is kind of in between my watercolor paintings and the thing I learned when I was working with Makoto Shinkai, and something like a Ponyo vibe also, so it's kind of a mix. I'm adding some like visible hand painted touches here and there. Hand painted, like that look like hand painted, so it looks like a ponyo, so it looks like painted with poster colors, which we did not do when I was working on the Your Name, for example, because it was like all digital and only digital. So you cannot see like brush touches or stuff like that. But here I'm trying to add some things like this to make it more kind of organic. I worked with Makoto Shinkai on Your Name and on few of his Taisei Kensetsu's commercials, like the commercials that you can see on YouTube when you search for like Makoto Shinkai TV commercial or something like that. I actually did a lot of backgrounds for those also. And I learned a lot during working at that studio, so I'm really grateful about that. But of course, when you are working at an animation studio, you have to match your style with everything that different people do. So there's a little bit less opportunity to express your own style. Taisei Kensetsu, yeah, Taisei Corporation. So at this point I'm trying to pick colors that I already used for in this painting somewhere. So I'm trying to reuse colors, for example, from here or from here, to make this painting kind of consistent. I'm using Procreate here, the newest version of Procreate, because it's nice and fast and cheap. And I actually like the brushes, though they are not perfect. And I like the software, though it's not perfect. I will be trying Clip Studio also, because I already downloaded, and I'll be trying it, but it requires to pay money, so you have to pay money every month, and I don't like it so much. Have you thought about starting your own animation studio? Yes, I actually have been thinking about that, but one of the reasons I quit from the animation studio that I was at is because they were doing a lot of commercial work for like commercials and stuff, so you cannot do things that you would like to do. So maybe in the future, if I manage to gain more kind of power, let's say, maybe to make a thing that I want to make, I will make a small studio. So just hire some animators that I know or something. But making an animation studio only to make commercials and things that are commissioned is not really nice actually now in Japan. Czy mój polski nabrał naleciałości z japońskiego? Naleciałości może nie, ale czasami łapię się na tym, że używam takich przerywników jak eto or yoisho or something like this. Even if I'm, nawet jak mówię po polsku. Okay, so the question is if my Polish language has some like did it change because I'm using Japanese all the time? No, but I sometimes use like this Japanese kind of eto or yoisho or something, even if I'm speaking in English or Polish. So that's kind of funny. I mean, the point of handling an entire animation studio is that you can do bigger things. So we were thinking about making a short animation with Kana, and actually, it's like if you start thinking about how many time and how many work hours you have to put into just one cut of animation, it would be nice to have like 3-4 people to help you with this. So the bigger work you start doing, the more people you need. So only bigger animation studios can make like bigger work. And if you have ambitions to do bigger work, you have to have a studio that will support this. So that's kind of good or bad, or I don't know, but it's like an evil that you have to face. But the problem is that the thing is that to face this studio making evil as an artist, that is kind of, I want to make this, so I make a studio, or just make a studio as a company and then be like a company executive that just tries to make the studio as profitable as it needs to be. These are like two approaches, and from the two approaches I like the artist one the better, probably. Hi Kumiko. Clip Studio, yes. For iOS it's like $9 per month, I think. On PC I already have it, but I would like it to be on my iPad, because I'm doing most of my painting on my digital painting right now with my iPad. So. Oh, hi Valentin. Yay! Hi everyone. When and how do you know you wanted to pursue an art career? This is a good question. I don't know actually. I had a lot of ideas about what I want to do. For a time, I wanted to make furniture, like chairs and stuff. And for a time, I was learning how to do programming and developing applications on Windows and doing a lot of like Delphi programming. I don't know if anyone remembers Delphi still. But I always did art. I always did some sketches. I always did some pictures. I always did a web comic thing and stuff like that. So it was always like an option. But the thing is that in Poland it was really hard to find anyone that will give you money for art, a good money. So I was always like, no, I would like to do it, but let's think kind of realistically. So I'm really happy that actually for now I'm doing more or less what I wanted to do. I animate my work mostly in Photoshop. But I downloaded the Clip Studio on iPad, which also has the animation features. So I will try to make some animations in the Clip Studio thing, because it's free for like half a year. So I'll just try to test it every way I can before paying for it. I would like to use Toon Boom or TV Paint, because mostly TV Paint probably. Most Japanese studios that do digital animation use TV Paint, so I would like to be better at that. I used the anime design thing for Photoshop, which is for those of you who don't know about it, it's like a panel with kind of buttons for animation shortcuts, like making keyframes and stuff, making frames and stuff. But it stopped working with Adobe CC, the new Adobe Creative Cloud thing. So there's a way to make it work. There's a way to make it work. You have to copy the original script that the plugin uses, and just use a plugin that allows you to make buttons for scripts. I don't know what's it was called. It does not look so pretty, but it works. So yeah. But recently, probably I will try to use the Clip Studio for animation. Was my career choice welcomed by my family? Yes, I think so. My father actually can draw pretty well, and he writes books recently in Polish. So if you know Polish, you can search for him. So yeah, the only thing is that you have to go so far to find a job, which was kind of unexpected, I think. This starting looked okay. I mean, it's far from Poland to Japan. It's better now because they opened flights from Warsaw to Tokyo, so you can get to Japan without having to go through Germany or Finland or something. So that makes it less bothersome, more expensive though. What do I miss about Poland? I miss the bread, I miss the cheese, I miss the ham, I miss all kinds of foods that we don't have in Japan. I miss the rzodkiewka. I don't know how radish, Polish radish. I miss some places that I was used to going to for my like summer holidays. I miss some of my friends from my university, my family, of course. But yeah, the food. Na zdrowie.
Dziękuję.
I miss ogórek kiszony, but we have Polish ogórek kiszony in Japan. Actually, you can buy them from a company that's called Krakus. They are selling actually in Japan. So yeah. Okay. I think this is too dark, so I'll add a little bit of this blue here. I already told it. This is a music by Scott Buckley. I will link to it in the description. It's a Creative Commons music thing. カナがチャットでいっぱいブレスユーされて。How do you know when a piece is done? Most of the times when you do a background, you kind of know where the focus point is. So what is the most important part that you want to get right? It's best to start with this part because you are fresh and you kind of are not tired, so you can make a lot of details. So you put a lot of details in this part, and then you have to kind of try to make a nice transition from that point to the background, so to the things that are far, and to the foreground, which is more detailed or kind of blurred because it's too close. So here, for example, the central part, like the crates and the building, is the focus. So I don't want to put so much details in the part I'm doing right now. I'm trying to convince Kana so she does also live streams. ねえ、生放送してねって。Haha. I'm trying to convince Kana so she also does live streams. I will tell you about when she actually does one. But she has my old iPad Pro, the one I used before. So now we have this setup and the camera and everything. Maybe it will be possible for her also to make a nice live stream. This picture is kind of an experiment because I didn't know if I can manage actually to paint something that's of good quality in Procreate, because I did not do it yet. It's like a first time I'm doing a painting in Procreate. It's 8 p.m. almost here, so it's really dark already. In Japan it gets dark really fast. At least in the place we are. Okay. Oh, okay. So the watercolors question. I don't know. It depends on the company you are using. I don't know all of them, but you need to have a primary yellow. You need to have a primary blue, and you have to have a primary red. It would be best to have 6 of them. So you have cool red, cool blue, and cool red, warm red, and warm blue, cool blue, and so on. So you can do some nice combinations of those. But it's just, you can see 6 color sets of various makers and see what colors are prominent there. Most of the small sets are made so they are easy to use. So you can see, for example, what Schminke or Holbein or whatever does for their small sets of 6 colors, and go from there. Yeah, I would like to see Kana's live stream also. No, we didn't have a Polish wedding. We actually went to Poland last year the first time, and we are going this year to just to meet the family and everything. And we are getting Kana's family to Poland for the first time also, so that will be a big thing. We have a question to Kumiko. Why Kumiko is Kumiko? From where this is? Is it your real name or from where is it coming, because we were kind of thinking about this for yesterday or something. If you had to choose, which type of animation would you try? Traditional Ghibli style or digital? Probably. I don't know. Probably traditional, but it's because I think that you have to be really good in your craft to not have the computer kind of get the best of you. So you are making the thing that you want to make and using the tools that in the way that you would like to use, and not just go digitally berserk. So you already have to be a good animator to use animation software, and especially 3D in a good way. So I would like to have the traditional animation still on whenever it's possible, but of course digital animation is more time efficient and resource efficient. So I don't know, do we need more animated series, or do we need series with more like better content? I would probably go for the content, but then again, you can use digital animation for really great stuff. So it really depends on the people, probably. I mean, we bought tickets for the new movie of Hayao Miyazaki, the short movie that will be shown in his in the Studio Ghibli museum from next month. And the characters there, I mean, it's a bug, but yeah, it's a character, were done in 3D. So we are already kind of excited to see how they did 3D. So that's the same kind of a problem. OK。なんか、久美子さんの名前はあがたさん。だけど、インターネット始まったからずっと久美子をやってる。どこから来たのかな。Miyazaki is planning to do a longer thing. We still don't know if it's like a full length cinema, like 1 hour or 2 hours, or like a short movie, like The Garden of Words was in Shinkai's case, and then do like 2 of them with a different director, so to be able to show them in the cinemas. And from what we know, it's probably the later thing. So it will be like a short animation, and they will make like 2 of them and show them together. Because from what we know, he actually retired from making long movies because it's too physically kind of strenuous for him to be directing a long movie. And this time probably he will keep the promise that he is retired from making long things. I'm really kind of excited about this new movie of Miyazaki's, because it will probably aimed at kind of our age group, so not kids and not like 40-year-old adults, but kind of 30-year-old people, probably. I met Hayao Miyazaki 2 times when we went to visit the Studio Ghibli. So I met him when he was working on The Wind Rises, and I met him like recently when he was working on this short animation for the Ghibli museum, the Kemushi no Boro, so Boro the Caterpillar. Okay, but really briefly because he kind of ran away from us because probably we were too loud and excited. Okay. Okay, so this part here is made of like those kind of stones that are cut in this kind of pattern. But I will not be drawing every one of those stones because I don't want to put too much details here. So I'll just draw some of them. Like for example this one here.コミコとどういう意味あるのかな。コはねのコーナーよね。そうそうそうそう。Okay, and there's like a moss here on the bottom, so I tried to and this is too short actually. I sketched it before but I had to sketch it too short. Okay, so this is more longer, kind of like this. How long does it take to make a digital background? Oh, it depends on the content. So if you have only sky, it takes like an hour or something. But you can have a shot on a city that's like full of cars and buildings and stuff. So it can take a week. It depends actually a lot on the content and what is in it. On the average, I would say it will be like 2-3 days to make a really good background that can be used like for animated movie or something. So it's a lot of work, but I had the pleasure of working in an animation studio that allowed us actually to put a lot of work in backgrounds, because in the television animation industry it's more like you have to do more of them in one day and more and more and more, so they use pre-made elements and like trees and buildings and reuse them in all kinds of places just to make more backgrounds in one day, and they go up to like 3, 4, 5 backgrounds per day. Ah, 永遠の美しい子供だって。うん。Kana says it is so. It actually means like something like this. For those of you who don't know, names in Japanese mostly consists of 2 letters, like kumi, ko, and they, a part of being a name, they have a meaning like eternal or love or child or I don't know, some like trees or whatever. There are a lot of, just you can use any like truth or uh, strength or something to make a name. 早尾さんの早尾ってどういう意味かな。うん。Where is a good place to learn anime poster color painting? You could look at. Oh, 厳しい You could look in a place that teaches you how to use gouache or acrylics. So this is like opaque paints. So you could watch tutorials in painting like this. For example, the one that James Gurney has on his Gumroad account. He does not poster color, but he does gouache, and he does like acrylic gouache also. So that would be nice to watch because he does really good work with his like city scenes and other stuff, and just analyzing stuff that you find that you like and trying to recreate it with um, your paints, because nothing makes learning better than just trying it yourself and even failing a few times. But poster color really is similar to gouache, it's just less expensive. So it's better for animation studios that have to paint a lot of backgrounds and don't care if they get destroyed after. So they used a lot of poster colors. How many hours of sleep you recommend per day? Um, anything for us, anything like 7-8 hours we sleep actually. Have you read Hayao Miyazaki's autobiography? Yes, I read both of them, and I actually liked the first one kind of better, but the English translation is really bad. I don't know how is it in Japanese, but the English translation is really bad. It's really hard to read. I don't know, maybe it's only me, but I can read any English book and be happy about it, but this autobiography things are really badly translated to English, but they open your eyes about various things in the animation industry, especially when Hayao Miyazaki was starting his kind of career in animation, when he was still doing like animation, really animating things. How to turn off the notification things? I'll have to do it before the next stream. Okay, so we are here. How does this look like? Okay, so I'll turn off the shadow, or not. I don't have to turn off the shadow. I can do a layer above this. And okay, so there's like a thing here. Here. Whoa, this is too big. It goes like this, and it's darker here. Thank you. And I'll try to reuse some colors from here, so to make it more consistent. I like this green. I will show the reference picture. Where is it? Okay, so this is the reference picture. Picture. Okay, I really like this green. Actually, I will have to save it. Save. No, I didn't save it. Save. Okay. And there are like stones here of various quality. Okay. And this part here, it's like this. And it has like a thing here. And it goes kind of until here. Okay. Thank you. I have been working on this already for I think like 14-15 hours maybe. Tips for studying abroad. I don't know if it's in all countries, but in Japan we had problems with communication, but not with like speaking and talking and understanding each other. But no one tells you things that you need to know because they already think that you know. So ask a lot of things, and if you have good teachers kind of squeeze all the knowledge from them that you know that you want, which is the purpose that you're there for. So ask a lot of things. For example, everything. When is the next class? Where is the next class? Is there any additional class that you can take? Just anything. Because people always kind of assume that you already know things, and you most of the times don't know because you are the foreigner in the group. So you have to ask a lot of things from people, so they tell you everything. And yeah, not being shy is also good advice. So even if you are not good at the language so much, you know whatever, if you are good enough for people to understand what you're saying, then it's okay. And even if they cannot understand what you're saying, if they are good people, they will help you even though they cannot understand. Okay, and I will make a traffic cone. Can I make a new layer? Yes. I'm probably close to the layer limit. I don't know why there's a traffic cone here. Let's paint it. Okay. I can use keyboard with this, but I find that when I use keyboard with Procreate, I always press the brush or the eraser 2 or 3 times, and I always get this menu to pop up, which is really frustrating for me, and it gets on my nerves. So I stopped using the keyboard for this. I use the keyboard for the alpha shortcut, so to lock the alpha on a layer and make like new layers and do other stuff. But I stopped using keyboard shortcuts from to switch from brush to eraser, because it leads only to frustration for me. I'm already in Japan for how many? 8 years probably, or something like this. It will be 8 years in a month. I think. And I met Kana in a secret place where you meet cute wives. Cute talented wives. どこで会ったの？なんかこういうキュートとすごく才能がある奥さんたちがあるところで。How to stay inspired? For me, just looking around when I go for a walk or something makes a lot of my inspiration. Hayao Miyazaki says that he always goes for a walk in Saturdays to look at the world around him and just, get stuff into his head so he can then recreate it in his works. And I think it's really important to just see real places and real people and observe them and see how they behave and how they look, how cars look, and how, I don't know, houses look, because we see them but we don't kind of perceive them too much. How different is dating in Japan? I don't know if it's really different actually. The only thing is that I'm kind of I was surprised is there's not so much friendship between like girls and boys or men and women after probably like secondary school. So there's not much like, okay, let's just go out together and have fun. It's mostly like girls having fun and boys having fun separately. So if you want to go to a date, you have to be kind of open about it. It's like, I like you, I want to go for a date. You cannot just, let's go to the cinema or something. Just kind of weird a little bit, but also kind of cute sometimes. I don't know. I'm actually from Poland. But now I'm actually from like near Enoshima in Japan. So I'm broadcasting from Japan, but I'm not originally from Japan. That's a nice traffic cone. Okay. 水張りっていうのをまず塗る？ああねえ。いや、ネットで見るだと、なんかまず紙全体を濡らして、でなんか乾かすだと、なんか後でそんなにワヤワヤしないっていうことなんだけど、僕だと、まあ、300g の紙を使ってるなので、僕のスタイルで書くだとそんなにもともとワヤワヤしないし、まあちょっとなんか木材のボードにテープで止めたらそんなになんかワヤワヤしないんですよね。そんなに気にならない。でもまあやりたかったら別にそれはそれでもいいんだけど、僕はやってない。多分もっとなんか水を使ってるスタイルだとちょっとあれしないと難しいかもしれません。まあもう一つソリューションはなんかアートストアで水彩ボードを買うんですよね。紙じゃなくてもうこういうなんか硬いボードに貼ってるみたいな紙もあるなので、それで結構もう何でも OK。 ちょい高けど。 Okay, so the question was if I stretch paper for watercolors. And I don't do it because with my style of painting, I just use 300 grams per square meter paper, and I don't have to stretch paper. If you are using like a lot of water and doing like really water intensive washes, then yes, you would probably have to stretch the paper. And there are a lot of like how to stretch paper on YouTube. So because I don't do it, I don't try to teach it because I don't really know how to do it properly. Probably I just use thick paper, and if I really need to, I use boards. So it's like watercolor paper on a stiff board, so it does not warp so much. Are there any cool birds in Japan? Yes, we are living near Enoshima, so near the sea, and near an island that is a popular like a touristic spot. And there are a lot of tombi. So tombi ってなんだろうね。Like a small hawk kind of birds, like birds of prey. And so if you have a bread or something in your hand, you will probably get it stolen by a huge bird that kind of goes like whoosh, and there's your dinner. Kite, a kite, a kite, kites. And there are like all kinds of small birds and cute birds and not so cute birds also. さ、一番白いなんか日本の鳥ってなんだ？小さいやつ、かわいいやつ。いや、かわいいやつ、ちっちゃくて。Can you do an evil laugh right now? I don't know. And there's a bird that's called Shima Nagae, and it's the cutest bird I ever seen in my life. 名前を流して、英語で。カタカナじゃなくて、でもカタカナでもいい。Kana will post its name on the chat, so if you have a second, just look at those photos and tell me if it's not cute. It's really cute. The evil laughter. ありがとう。Evil laughter will come at you when you're least expecting it. Okay, this is taking more time than I expected, but we are getting somewhere. Okay, let's add some green moss here. Shiwadage is so cute. Actually, you cannot buy it in Japan because it's kind of wildlife thing. So you cannot buy it and raise it in a cage or something. But if you could, I would totally want one. It has the cutest face ever. Raniuszek zwyczajny. Oh my god. ポランドコの名前すごいかわいい。Raniuszek. Okay, I will use a little bit darker color for this part here. Maybe not so dark. Hi. Is it worth buying an iPad Pro? I think so. Especially now. I mean, when I had iPads like way back, because I was using them for my like course work and doing all kinds of interesting stuff on them, but mostly to work around and have um, just a device so I can show my works to people and movies and all kinds of things. But from the update of the iOS, so you can have like files and have two programs at once on the screen and kind of can drag and drop stuff between those programs. It's really useful right now. Um, it can be really used for like work, so not only to like view things, but you can use it for work, for doing stuff. And this is a huge incentive for me to try to use it. And actually, yes, you can do a lot of stuff with it, so I think it's worth the money, especially if you buy the pro, and if you buy the pen, then it's a really replacement for a, it's really better than a cheap laptop at like 10 times. Is there someone somewhere when we can see your real face? I have some videos on my YouTube with my real face. Uh, I have the announcing of my Tokyo Storyfront book when I have my real face, and I have the Yokohama video when I have my real face. So yeah, you can see some videos with my iPad Pro. You can play some games on iPad Pro, not many, but there are some. Secretly, I really like the um, Tanks game. So World of Tanks. I play World of Tanks from time to time on my iPad. Thank you. I'm glad I can explain things. No, we don't have children yet because we are uh, newly married yet still. But yeah, let's see. We also changed our work style from um company to freelance, so that was a big kind of leap for us. But we have to see if we can get a stable kind of income with this. Hi, I am happy that you caught the live stream. I was really worried if I can do it today because we had some problems with the internet, but it seems to be working. Do you have any time for playing games? I have some, not so much, but we don't have a television set, so we don't watch television almost at all. So yeah, we have PlayStation 3, and I play some games on the iPad, and I play some games on my Mac also from time to time. But mostly it's like I spend a lot of time with the screen already, so if I can avoid it, it's better probably. Is there anyone we can see Kana's real face? Kana ちゃんの顔見えるところあるっけ？自分のアカウントに動画なかったっけ？顔はないか。確かに。You can see Kana's hands on her videos. あ、but she will be in my next video on YouTube because it will be about the new iPad, so she will be there for a second. Greetings from Germany. Hi. Is it hard to work freelance in Japan? I think it's kind of the same thing as everywhere. I mean, now we have internet, so even though you are in Japan, you can do work from other places also. uh, it's hard in this way that you have to know Japanese to be able to read stuff. So, for example, if you get a job doing I don't know, illustrations for a book, you have to read the book. If you get a meeting for animation, you have to do the meeting in Japanese. So there's no going around that. But I don't know. It's kind of nice from my experience because they value artists kind of highly, especially like mm, artists with a skill that is kind of unique. And even the weirder artists get kind of valued. So I think it's okay. For games, I did a lot of Fez, which is a great game, and I did a little bit of Minecraft, which I like, but it makes me sick if I look on it too much. And Kana likes the uh, Megami Tensei series and Solid Snake series and those kind of games on PlayStation, and Monster Hunter series. I know of him. I spoke to him a little bit. We were thinking about doing like a video or two together also, actually, because what I do, but I was kind of busy with my work and doing like freelance stuff, so I don't know, maybe someday. It's kind of a different piece of YouTube, different corner of YouTube, so I don't go there so often.かなちゃんの一番好きな新女神転生は何？
難しい。話すと私がビデオ作らなきゃいけなくなる。
Kana says that when she starts fangirling about Shin Megami Tensei, it would take another video to put it in. Butどっち？名前とかある？ She says 3 and 4, but I don't know. I haven't seen those games, so they can have different titles outside of Japan.
最近だとストレンジジャーニーは3回ぐらいで。
Strange Journey? Strange Journey also. I don't know. I don't know.
3回ぐらいクリアしたよ。
She got through it 3 times. Which is probably crazy. We don't play Monster Hunter World because we don't have PlayStation 4, which is a bummer because I would like to see that, and also because most of the games that I would like to play in Japan are in Japanese, so I cannot do them without like a dictionary and being really like I cannot read most things. So it would be best probably to buy Monster Hunter World outside of Japan, so the English version, and play it with Kana using 2 PlayStations, but that would be like overkill, so no, we are not playing it yet. Hollow Knight っていうゲームをおすすめです。日本語もあるし。So you will have to buy the PlayStation 4. we were actually kind of thinking about PlayStation 4 or the how do you call it, Nintendo Switch, because the new Shin Megami Tensei was for Nintendo Switch, and I also want to play Zelda because I haven't played yet. I know everyone played Zelda, but I didn't play Zelda yet. And the consoles are about the same price, so it's really tough choice. Oh, this is starting to look okay. I'll show you the whole picture a little bit. Yeah, we should buy both, but we bought a lot of equipment lately, especially the camera and the iPad Pro, and the stuff to connect the camera to the computer and all kinds of gadgets. So we bought a battery so we can work on both the iPads for like 12 hours running, even if we don't have access to a power outlet. So that was kind of interesting. Zelda is good. Yeah, I know, it's so hyped on the internet. I really want to play it, especially when I was in Poland. I played a lot of World of Warcraft, so I really like open world games. I know that if I start playing Zelda, I'll be like kind of offline for a month or something. Okay, let's go to a different part because I'm bored with this part. Let's go to the top part. What does it look like? It's kind of difficult. Okay. Okay, so there's like the dark part. It goes until here. What is my favorite all-time game? It's difficult question. I liked Fez a lot actually, and I liked World of Warcraft a lot because we were playing it with a really nice team of people, and it was really interesting and fun to play if you have a nice team. And there's like a lot to explore, so I liked it a lot actually. I did not play so much games, but I played like Age of Empires and this kind of games from this kind of period. Final Fantasy 15. I like Final Fantasy 9 actually. This is one of my favorite games actually. Okay, so the roofed part goes up till here, and then it gets dark. So let's go like this. Okay, and there's like a thing here that goes like this, and can I erase it? Yes. Have you played The Witcher? I like the books a lot. I liked them when I read them a lot of years before. So I tried to play The Witcher, but I don't know. I just could not get into it. I played the first one and I tried to play the second one. I just couldn't like kind of get into it. I did not like the Polish dialogues, the Polish voice cast. So I tried to switch to English, so it was a little bit better for me. But I don't know, I just could not kind of get into it. You can try to you can, if you have Photoshop, you can try to use the Photoshop Sketch on iPad, which is okay. And you can also try Clip Studio, which is kind of free for half a year, and then you can quit, which is also okay. And there's like Medibank Paint, which is free, and it's also okay. And there's like one more recently. There's a lot of like painting, and there's like a Tayasui Sketch with like interesting. This name is interesting. Tayasui って何? やりやすい?
そんな感じ。
Which is simple sketch in Japanese. Okay. And if this goes like this. Okay, I don't want to speak too fast, but probably the reset of the router got it kind of working. Okay, this looks okay. And I don't think it's cheating. I mean, you can draw things from only your memory and it's okay. You can do whatever and it's okay. For me, the most important thing is that you have something to show with your art, and something you learn every time you do, and something you try to be better and better every time you do your art. So if you are doing like hyper realistic work, it's okay. If you are doing not realistic work, it's also okay. It depends actually on what you do and what you are kind of expecting from your art. We use a lot of photo reference in like animation backgrounds and things, but for example, I know that when Hayao Miyazaki is doing his like animation concept sketches, he does not use any photos. He sometimes looks like at an album of photos, like the old ones printed on paper, but he does not look like on photos and like sketch things that he sees in front of him. And probably this is why his animations are kind of more softer and human, kind of like, I don't know how to explain this. Who plays Monster Hunter? I would like to play Monster Hunter. I would like to. やりたいね。
プレステ4ね。
But I think it's better if you look at reference photos. It's better not to copy from them. Like if you see the reference photo that I'm using for this painting, it has a little bit different lighting, and it has the buildings are not precisely the same buildings, and it has different things. It has different colors and completely different style and completely different perspective, because it was like a vertical photo, not a horizontal one, so it's kind of different. So it's best to use reference, but like painting things that will benefit your work. So if it's a background for animation, for example, is the priority. So the priority is not painting something that is really like according to the reference photo, but that will make your animation look better. So for example, I do a lot of like cheating in the perspective and cheating in the details to make it look more kind of as a part of to make it look like a part of a world that I would like to paint. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense. Okay, so the shadow here also, and I'll use a little bit more softer brush. Major in animation. One of the advice I can give, and this will sound like a really basic thing, but if you want to study animation, don't watch animation too much, because animations that you can watch is like good for studying and for reference and for learning how people do things that you want to do also, but those animations are already things that someone saw and kind of, how do you call it, ate and 消化ってなんていうの、英語で消化する、食べ物を消化する、jak jest przetrawić po angielsku? Digested. Arigato. So animations are things that someone already digested and made into their own art, interpreted, yeah, by themselves. So it's already kind of less than reality. And if you want to be a good animator, you have to know reality really good, so you can paint people and paint things and draw people and animate things that kind of are real, feel real. This is one of the problems of the animation industry in Japan right now, because a lot of people are drawing things that they saw in other animations, but they don't look at real things too much. So that's one of the problems right now, and it's like a copy of a copy of a copy. If you want to paint I don't know, a girl, you don't want to look at animation too much, because you will only paint a girl that someone painted, that someone saw in a manga or something. So it's better to look at real people and at real places and at real animals. And how to say hello in Polish? Witam or cześć. Nazywam się, and you put your name. So nazywam się. Okay, so this is how this looks. I will do like this part here next. Not so dark, maybe. Let's pick a nice color from here somewhere. Okay. Different layer. Oh, this is a nice color, yes. I think I will be saving this stream. I don't know if it will work, because it got like interrupted 2 times on the way. So maybe if I can, I will save this stream too. But either way, I will make a small video about the whole process. Yeah, basically, cześć Slovakia. Okay. And there's like a light getting through here from somewhere, and it's getting like here, and it's doing like this kind of strange thing here. So I would like to recreate this. And Kana is actually doing a little bit of preparation work for our tax return this year, which came sneaked upon us. But we have a tax person that will do it for us because it's too hard to do it in Japan if you are like not Japanese. I cannot read half of the words that are in the tax return form, so we had to ask someone to do it for us. Especially we are doing it for the first time, so there's a lot of things that we had to get ready, but hopefully we can get it done without any like mistakes and stuff. It's a this illustration is little bit inspired by Ponyo, not directly, but I like the style of painting in Ponyo, which is like more free and not so much straight edges. Everything is kind of wonky a little bit, which is nice and refreshing. So I tried to make this kind of stylistically similar. Wow, that is a huge brush. So it is kind of inspired in Ghibli, but not directly. It's not a scene from Ghibli or a setting from Ghibli. How is my manga going? The manga is going okay. I had a little bit of downtime because of the animation kind of thing that I was doing. But I finished doing the storyboard, so I got to the manga, back to the manga a little bit, and I painted some pages. I have only like 8 pages or something left to color. So when I finish coloring the pages, I will do the translation. I will probably send it to some of you so you can see it and check if my English is okay, and then I'll publish it on the internet. My name is Mateusz Urbanowicz, which is a headache in Japanese because they don't have half of the sounds that are required to spell it. So the Tokyo storefront is in the publisher's hands. So I finished all the pictures, I finished most of the text, like 90% of the text, and now the designer is finishing the design, and the printing is kind of trying to get the print as close to the real paintings as possible, which is proving to be kind of difficult, but we are almost there, so it should be on time this time. じゃあなんかお茶ないちょっともうないありがとう Thank you. I got some offers for like Hungarian translation and French will be really good for this. Okay, I'll add some wood texture here. I'll use this brush. Wow, too big. Let's select it. I'm trying to keep the layer count here to the minimum. Okay. What was your favorite food when you moved to Japan? I like sushi a lot. And you can eat really cheap, good sushi in Japan, of course. Which is perfect. ありがとう。Sushi and sashimi, and I like the don food. So like you have a bowl with rice and lots of kinds of stuff on top of it. So there's like the maguro tataki don, maguro tataki yukke don, which is like a bowl of rice, and on top of it you have minced maguro, so tuna, raw, and on top of it you have raw yolk of egg and like a spicy sauce, which is awesome. I probably made a lot of you hungry right now. I'm sorry. Ramen, yes, and Japanese curry, and Japanese tofu, and all kinds of awesome foods. Thank you. I'm looking forward to the book also because I already finished it and I'm waiting for it to get printed. So I am kind of looking for the book also. Looking forward to the book. Oh my god, stop. うわなんか美味しい食べ物をリストアップしてたから。What anime are you watching this season? We are not watching so much anime. I don't know. The last few seasons were kind of not disappointing, but not in the category that we like the most, probably. This season we were looking at watching the anime 雨上がりなんだっけ雨上がり恋は雨上がりのように The love romance one, which was really nicely done, and probably that's it. I don't. Even though I was doing anime, I didn't watch so much anime recently. Most of the time, we are watching some older stuff. I will have to watch the Yuru Camp. But we have a little bit of a how do you call it, overload of cuteness here, so we try not to watch so much anime with like K-on style girls too much. I don't know if it's the same kind of category, but I will have to try it. I'm actually not hearing the music, so I'm sorry if it's too loud or kind of bothersome. I'll make it a little bit less. Usually I listen to a lot of music while drawing, but I cannot stream you the music I listen because the stream will be stopped because of copyright stuff. Yes, I'm drawing on a display. I'm drawing on my iPad. I will have to do like a playlist with all kinds of music, but no one can say what music will get like taken down. So I listen to a lot of music, I listen to some Japanese stuff, but mostly I listen to. It's easier to probably say some bands. I use to listen to Radiohead. I used to listen to Roixop. I listen to a lot of um, Japanese band that's called Yellow Studs, and a lot of soundtracks, a lot of Ghibli soundtracks also. A little bit of Daft Punk, a little bit of all kinds of music, actually. The soundtrack of Katamari Damacy is really awesome. And there's like a weird soundtrack from a movie that's called Koi no Mon. I don't know if it was translated to English, probably like Love Gate. Koi no Mon. And it's also awesome. Roixop. And a lot of Ghibli soundtracks and Matsutoya Yumi-san. So the person whose song was used in last Miyazaki's movie. This looks okay. Some classic music a little bit, but not a lot. And for example, the soundtrack for the old Blade Runner, which is awesome. And from Polish music, I was listening a little bit to Raz Dwa Trzy, which is a nice band. And from Czech music, actually, lately we were listening to a band called Dva, which is spelled D-V-A. I don't have any siblings. I don't have a brother or sister. Okay. And also we have been listening a lot of Wednesday Campanella, which is a Japanese singer. I don't think it's a band. And she has a lot of weird, awesome, interesting songs. And also Kate Bush. And the Kate Bush with the album that's called Aerials, which is awesome. And yeah, a lot of stuff. We have a CD player and we play music from CDs, old style. And we buy actually used CDs from used music stores that are kind of popular in Japan. Need blacker black here. More blacker black. I like. I don't know how to you read the name Nuyabes. I like it. I know them from an animation, like television series. They did some music, and I listened to some of their stuff. But I think they are disbanded right now. Or Wednesday Campanella is a band, yes, and it's awesome. I'm not interested in the Olympics. I'm sorry, we don't even have a TV. We were laughed at by Kana's father because he was like, "Do you watch the Olympics?" And there's a Polish like stuff happening there, and we're like, "No, we don't have the TV." I'm like, "Just buy a TV." I'm like, "For the Olympics, nah." I'm drawing from photo reference. It's this one. But I'm already past this point, so I don't have any reference here. I'm making it as I go. Um, my father can draw pretty well actually, but no, he was not an artist, like professional artist. This is. Oh, I'll have to search for this. This is in Kanazawa. We went there with Kana last year for some like a trip to make some photos and discover some new stuff because we heard that there is a lot of like old buildings and stuff still there. So we went there. Nu Jabis. Nu Jabis? Nu Yabes? なんて言うのあれ。バンドつか、音楽やってた人、死んじゃってしまった人、ヌヤベズ。かなちゃんが知ってる。言い方わかんない、本当に。日本人だけどね。チャット見たらわかる。ヌジャベズ。Nujabes. Yeah, I have a problems because in Polish we say yot, yi, and in Japanese we say j, and in English it's different. So I will try. I will give it. I will give it a try. I listened some of the songs, and also Gorillas. Gorillas, which is awesome, and Franz Ferdinand, which is awesome. Okay. I had to take my sweater off because it's getting hot here. I'll add some like this kind of orangish color here also to make it nice and stand out. But I like the old stuff of Gorillaz. The newest album was kind of, I don't know. Muse. We listen to Muse a lot actually. Fez. The soundtrack for Fez. And about the games, I also play Faster Than Light FTL, which is really interesting game, and it's also on the iPad lately. So can you give me some tips for sketching outside? Keep it simple. I mean, nice. You can do nice sketching with like one pen, but you can also do nice sketching with like watercolors with only like 10 colors or something with a really simple set. And it's important not to bother anyone. Because in some places you cannot sketch, in some places it's actually forbidden to paint and sketch and stuff, so it's important not to bother anyone. But other than this, I use a tripod when I know that it will be hard to find a place to sit. So I have a tripod with like a plank on it. So I can use my sketchbook on this. And it's also nice when you can sit, so you can put the tripod and put the plank and put a sketchbook on it, so you don't have to paint on your kind of legs. And it's nice to keep things, the painting, the drawing, the sketch itself, it's nice to keep it simple, to focus on one kind of theme and don't try to do everything around. So sometimes it's nice to focus only on a nice tree or on a nice bench or on a nice car and try to do it nicely, and then the background does not have to be so detailed. Also, a nice technique is to use lines only on things that are close, so you get a nice, like, kind of depth effect, instant depth effect. I did it on some of my watercolor sketching outside recently, and it works pretty well. So you do a sketch with do lines with ink, but only for the things that are kind of close, and the main part of the sketch, and then you paint with the rest only with watercolors, and it gives a really nice depth effect. How does it look like? Okay, so it has like this kind of holes. I'll try to do it on a new layer. I still can do new layers. Okay, I use this brush and add a little bit of texture here, not too much, just a little bit, and I'll erase some of it. I'll lock this layer and I use this brush. Okay, and then I unlock this layer and erase it a little bit more with this smaller. Okay. Do you recommend Moleskine notebooks for sketching and painting? Not really. They are good for like note taking and stuff, and if you want to just do like simple things with a ball pen or something, but the paper is not so great. It's good in the Moleskine art series. It's okay, but there are a lot better sketchbooks that you can buy to do sketching outside. If you want to do watercolor sketching, then the watercolor Moleskine is really nice. It has nice paper for the price and works really well. I have the long one, the horizontal one, which worked for me really good. But for like ink drawings and sketching and pen drawings and sketchings, the Moleskines are not so good, actually. I was kind of disappointed a little bit on the quality of the paper, because you take a pen and it goes like it bleeds all over the place. So I don't really recommend to buy like just regular Moleskine and use it for sketching. It's not so good. In watercolor painting or with digital? So I have been using like Canson mixed media sketchbook a lot, which I like because it opens nicely also. I have been using Sea White of Brighton sketchbook, which was also nice. There are lots of nice sketchbooks that you can use, but Moleskine is not really the standard Moleskine, not the art series. It's not really marketed for artists. For watercolor painting, I'm using the difference with the with the maker, about 1.5 centimeters length round brush. And with digital painting I try to not to get too small so I don't overdo with the details. In Procreate I don't know how big it is because it's only like a slider. It says 5%. I don't know what does mean. What does this mean? In Photoshop probably about 20 pixels, 10 pixels, 20 pixels, 30, sometimes 40, 50. What I usually do when I'm not motivated, I try to do art when I'm not motivated. So it's my work, so I have to do it even though I'm not inspired. There are some things that you can do when you are not inspired. For example, color your comic that you already know what color has to be, or do some like sketching from photos or something that does not really require so much inspiration to do. But if I can't do anything, I just go and watch a movie or uh, go outside or go for a walk or play some ukulele or whatever, just to take your mind off things and just think about something different from for a while. But for me and Kana, watching for example a movie that we like of Studio Ghibli or whatever, of Miyazaki's, works really well. And also like watching a documentary about how Studio Ghibli movies were made also inspires me a lot. So there are a lot of ways. But if you are really kind of a professional or want to be a professional, you really have to work whether you are inspired or not. So it's best to try to be kind of ready for making art whenever. But of course there are days that you feel like full of energy and power and you think that the next illustration that you make will be the greatest yet, and there are days that you are like, I don't know if the thing I'm doing has any sense at all or in any meaning at all. So there's that. Okay, let's do some more green stuff here. I'll collapse this layer later, so it's one layer. I don't know. The size of the canvas is about, most of the times is either A4 300 dpi or full HD, so 1920 pixels by 1080. ちょっとエアコン切ってくれる？超暑いここ。なんかかなちゃんの虫のアイコンすごく好きだって。
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's see how it's looking. We are almost there. 見て見て。こんな感じ。
おー、いいね。
もうちょい。
もうちょい。この辺？
ここら辺ね。Let's try to do this part here. 右側かな？小さい引き出しの右引き出し。I want to add some blue here to have like the reflection that the sky has in it. I lock the alpha lock it here or not. The only keyboard shortcut that I usually use a lot is the alpha lock here, and I don't have my keyboard connected right now, so I don't know how many hours. I did 5 hours yesterday, about 4 hours today, so I would say it's 20 hours, probably something about that. But it's close. It's getting closer. I'm happy that you could catch the stream. I don't usually know when I'll be streaming. I'm just like, oh, I'll just do this illustration, so I'll just put on a stream. So I'm sorry that it's kind of irregular, but with two fingers on a layer to really. No, this is like a filter. I can adjust the alpha. Okay, so I can make it. This is nice. Thank you. Painting digital is not easier or faster than traditionally for me, actually. I think I paint faster with watercolors than digitally, actually, but of course with digital you can do some things that you cannot do with watercolors, and of course you can do some things with watercolors that you cannot do digital yet. I don't think it will be ever possible to recreate like the watercolors completely, but alpha is the opacity, but you can also lock alpha, which means that on this layer the transparent pixels, so the pixels you have not painted on, will remain transparent even if you try to paint over them. So for example, if I lock the alpha on this layer, alpha lock, and I try to paint on it like this, the paint will kind of stay inside of the layer, which is really helpful for digital painting because you can first paint the shape and then focus on adding like texture and details and stuff. Okay. How does it look like? I did the wheels here, but it's not the wheels. That's a bother. Wonder if I can undo it. Yeah, I can. Okay. Do it like this. Faster, and actually it's like this in the real. We use a lot the alpha lock in when painting what digital backgrounds for like animation, because it gives you like this kind of fast lock on a layer that you only have the shape and you paint the shape with whatever color you want, and then you lock it, and then you can add details and do stuff, and also use the clipping mask, so put a layer inside like of this layer, and you don't have to bother with staying inside of the lines, so to say. So it's really useful. But usually in Photoshop, for example, you have a short keyboard shortcut for it, which is the slash button key. So it's really fast to lock it and unlock it when you need to. Yeah, this is better. Okay. So I'm cheating here with the perspective a little bit. I'm making it round, so it looks like it's taken from like a, how do you call it, wide angle lens kind of thing. I'm using Procreate. It's an app for iOS, so iPad, and I don't know if is Procreate on Android also. I don't think it is. Okay, this is looking better than before. I'll just take a random layer that's below this and add the blue thing here. It's locked. Okay, let's go with this brush, whatever. I have some paintings of night scenery, not digital but watercolors. You can see it on my website and on my, not on my website, probably on my website too, my Behance account, and on my YouTube also. And I painted a lot of night scenes digitally for the Your Name movie. Yo. I was a PC guy. I used a lot of PC, but then I started to use Macs. So when I had the chance to have an iPhone or iPad, I got iPhone or iPad, not the Android ones. And I don't know. I don't have so much experience with Android, so I don't know if it's good or bad, or how well it works. I prefer Macs because I have Apple stuff, but there are some things that kind of I don't like about Apple recently. But I like the iPad a lot. Okay, so there's like a thing here. How does it look like? It's okay. It's okay, probably. I had tried Krita because it has some animation functions there, so you can move stuff there. And I wanted to try to do some animation, but I did not get to it really, just a little bit. So I cannot say anything about that software. I used Photoshop a lot, mostly because this is the standard for the Japanese animation industry right now, and before that I used GIMP or GIMP. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that software was kind of clunky a little bit. I don't know how good it is now. But on the iPad I have been using a lot of software like Adobe Sketch and the Photoshop Sketch and the Procreate and Clip Studio. Recently I'm trying with Kana, and there's the Tayasui Sketchy, and before that the Autodesk Sketch app, and also Affinity Photo, which is more for photo editing than for painting. Okay, and there's like a blacker line here, so I'll add this blacker line. And there's like a brighter line. Ah, little bit too big. I try not to paint too small so it does not get cluttered with details. But this looks okay. And there is like a darker line again. Probably like a square piece of wood attached to it, to this part here. And there are like this kind of texture thingies here because it's like planks. 10 seconds break. This looks okay. I'll have to do this kind of part in the shadow here, and I don't like this part here, so I'll fix this a little bit, and we are close to finishing this. And I would make a layer on top of everything and add those kind of like color pencil kind of touches here and there, and we'll be done. How do you fight perfectionism? I don't use a ruler, that's one thing. I don't use a ruler even in my like architectural drawings and paintings. I'm okay. I'm trying to be okay with wobbly lines, and even I try sometimes to do wobbly lines on purpose, because I like the art to have like a human touch kind of thing. Touch. And when I was at the animation studio, actually we were doing a lot of like really realistic art. The thing was to do everything like straight, So we use a lot of like the straight line tool in Photoshop and this kind of stuff to make things straight. And I actually don't like it so much. How much is an iPod Pro? I'm sorry, I don't know because I only know the Japanese price. And the price is a little bit different than in your place. So it would be best to just check on the Apple website. The Apple stuff in Japan got a little bit more expensive because the dollar is expensive. So it got a little bit more expensive recently. Okay. This is looking okay. I don't like this. Okay, and I don't like how this part here meets the part that's in the shadow, so I want to add some texture here. I don't know how to do this. Can I set a brush up that would be like darker mode? General blend mode, darken. And let's try to do this. Yeah, it's working. But not so well. So I have to do a selection first, probably. Okay. Let's get back to this. Now do like a little bit of like weathering here, but not too much, so it's not so detailed. I don't want to overwork this place, this part here. But in, let's say in nature, almost never you have like two faces of an object that meet perfectly and don't give like a slight kind of shadow or something here. So it's best to make it like to paint it by hand than to make it just like a straight line in Photoshop or something. So the weathering effect is really important. And also this part here has like lines here. Okay. This looks good. And also let's add one here. And some weathering. I don't have an iPhone X, and I don't think I will buy the iPhone X. I don't really like the design. I will probably, when my contract finishes, I will probably go for the usual iPhone thing. I draw digitally and traditionally, and paint and do digital art and do all kinds of stuff. So I also do animation and comics and weird things. Okay, so maybe like this kind of brush. Okay, this part I like this part. Let's leave it maybe, so not to overwork it. I'll just add a little bit here because I don't like the transition between the grass thing, not the grass, the moss thing and the pavement. I'm using a reference. I have a reference on my on my iMac screen. I usually put a reference here side by side, but because of the stream, I want to make the screen as big as I can. Okay. I can feel the ending. I can feel the end coming. I hope nothing crashes or does weird stuff thing. Hello. I'm happy you could join us. I'm probably painting the least interesting part of the illustration right now. So even if if I have a line here, I try to like double back on it so it's not perfect and it's not like straight line from the brush. Okay, and this should be a little bit darker, and I should use a little bit less in what I'm speaking, and I know that.別にありがとうね。And the shadow layer, the different, yes, it's here. So I'll just erase it a little bit because it's too fuzzy. No. Eraser. Like this. If you couldn't do art for living, what job you would do instead? Probably I will be fixing computers, or because I worked a little bit as a computer kind of guy that fixes computers. Just you drop off your PC and it's dead, and I poke inside of it and try to get it running again. It was really fun, actually. I liked the job, even though some people were like really panicked and really worried about their data and stuff. But I liked to help and to do to fix things. It's really nice feeling. Okay, so we are kind of no. Yes. Right. Now I'll make I'll fix this thing here. Okay, I forgot one thing here. You see those kind of dimply thingies here? There are also dimply thingies here on the top part here. So I'll paint them really fast and let's go to the ending. Just a little bit more. I don't like this hard edge here. I'll just make it softer a little bit. And the layer underneath. This is a really hard edge here. I'll just take the edge off a little bit. Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm doing like a 1 minute break. Where's the microphone? Here. No, here. Okay, I'm back. I will try to convince Kana so she will add some animation to this background. Uh, let's I would like to see something moving here. Okay, so now we are at the dimple thing. Okay, so let's add. Can I add a layer? Let's use this one. Okay, let's add some details. What is this even? I don't know. Just like this kind of shape things. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more here. And they have like this dark thingies. How do you practice? I don't practice. I do it. I do this for living every day, almost every day. So my work is my practice. I just try to be better and better in the thing I do. I sometimes do practice pieces, like this one is a practice piece because it does not have like a immediate purpose. Like I don't have like a project I'm working on, and this is one part of the project. But yeah, I just try to make everything better each time I do it, and this helps a lot and is my kind of practice. I would like to have a nice sketchbook with a lot of practice sketches and nice sketches and everything, but for me it's like, oh, another project, let's do this, and I'm kind of always busy with stuff that is kind of needs to be finished, so I don't do so much practice work, like only for practice purposes. And I feel bad because there are a lot of you who give like pledges on Patreon and things, and I would like to paint you all kinds of stuff. Okay. This is kind of okay. The only thing I will do from now is I will add a layer on top of everything, and I will do the kind of pen touches that I did to here on the trees, like here. Oh, you cannot see. Let's make a new layer. New layer, red. Like here, red. Yes, like here, or here on the trees. I added a layer on the top, and I used this brush, dry ink. I modified it a little bit to add this kind of lines. So I'll add this kind of lines in some places on in the front also. Okay, so let's start with the building here. Let's see. Okay, so let's select a darkish color. Okay. Which do you prefer? Make an animated TV series or animated movie? Oh. Animated TV series is okay, and a movie is okay, but for the animated TV series, there's more pressure with time and money. So there's more pressure. So the thing has to be profitable, and I don't usually like things that are made only to be profitable because I just don't like. And with animated movies, sometimes you can get away with making something that's kind of crazy and original and it's just cool. But with TV animation also, so it's a really hard question. Probably both. So I'm adding now some black lines to make this more like a painting with some dark pencil lines on top. I have to fix the shadow here. Where's the shadow layer? Here, brush, this brush and this color. Okay. Where was I? Here. I try to make not this brush not so small, so I cannot overdo it. The painting without shadows is like this, so it's a little bit brighter. And I added the shadows on top using a multiply layer, but only one. So I cheated a little bit. Good to have you here. Good to have all of you here, actually. Okay. Okay. The front part is kind of detailed, so I don't have too much to do here. There are some parts that I want to kind of how do you call it? Make stand out a little bit more, but not to put too much details. I use this kind of line technique. Okay, like this part here. Okay, and like here-ish. No, I want my color back. Give my color back. I took it from here, I think. um, okay, and here, and a little bit here for the planks that make this like black lines, and I add some highlight lines also later. I'm sorry for spinning this so much, but I'm used to spinning a lot when painting. What's my next project? For now, I'm making the animation, the short animation. I'm directing it, so I cannot show anything because this is like a commissioned work. So I'll be doing a lot of this, but also I want to finish the Yuragi comic, so I'll be doing both of those things together. And then in the later half of this year, we want to do a little project with Kana together. So we'll be doing a lot of illustrations that will be like connected, mine and Kana's. Okay. I don't always put purple in shadows. A lot of times, but not always. The point is that I have like warm colors for like the highlighted parts, so a nice purple is good for shadows. Like here, here. I don't want to overdo it. Somebody stop me. Okay. And I think that's enough. Maybe I don't know here. Okay. And like yeah, I think I will leave it at this. Just add some highlights next. With the same brush, like on the edges here, maybe a little bit brighter. Like this. Too much. Ah, okay. Highlights on edges give a little bit like, I don't know. I like to put a little bit of. It's Matt's father actually. Hi. I just tried to smudge the paint with my finger, which did not work. I mean, you can do it in on the iPad, but I have it turned off. Yeah. There's also an option that you can turn on, that the eraser you can erase with your finger, which is also really useful. How did you get into Japanese industry? Um, the bad conditions in anime. I don't know so much about the bad conditions in animation because uh, I worked in a studio that was okay for all the people in it. So I did not have all those situations that are kind of viral on the internet. But I know that some people had, so it's real. But I got to the industry because I did short animation when I was in my university. So I did a short animation and I showed it to Makoto Shinkai and his producer when they came to my university to do a lecture. So I got kind of scouted thing from the university, and this is a nice way to get into the Japanese industry, because animation industry, because you have to have a work visa, work permit, so you have to be permanently employed. Why to be able to work. And I heard a lot of stories about the really poor quality, poor working conditions in other studios, and I saw some of those places because we went to like do a they call it kengaku, so like a tour of other places, and they did not look pretty, and it's really the workforce is kind of cheaply um, treated, so you don't get so much money for your work, and you don't get so much money for each page you paint or draw, so that's a bad thing, but there are a lot of studios and a lot of people that try to make it better. There are a lot of studios that try to improve on this on this condition. Hi. So probably if you heard about someone that works all day but still cannot afford an apartment in Tokyo, that's true. And probably if you heard about someone working like crazy over hours, that's also true. But there are places that are good for their stuff also. So it all depends on the place. And there are a lot of animations being done right now. So mm, even though with the whole animation industry working on stuff right now, there are like too few people to do everything. So a lot of animation is being sent like to Korea or to China to uh, make it on time. And some of the places in Korea and China are good, and some of the places in Korea and China are really bad, like everything. So it depends on the place, really. I didn't paint it in 3 hours. Nie narysowałem tego w 3 godziny. I painted in like 20 probably. Just this part is 20 hours. Jakieś 20 godzin podejrzewam mi to zajęło. Ale jest prawie skończone. Ja tylko patrzę jeszcze, czy nie dodać jakichś kabelków takich białych może na nowej warstwie. Mogę zrobić? Mogę. More cables here. I started learning Japanese when I was still in Poland, just using some like podcasts and websites to learn. But it's really hard to learn language that you don't have anyone to speak to with. So not much of the things that I learned in Poland was kind of useful. I think that the Japanese course that I went to in Japan was the like most efficient way to learn Japanese. Actually, there was like a podcast that was called 101 Japanese or 101 Japan. I was listening to. I did not work with Studio Pablo. No. Did I work? No, probably not. If I did, I was just only a guy who does like background for something that they need done fast. Just one or two. Like sometimes we did a lot of um, like random work, which I don't really remember anymore. I don't know. Let's make it more kind of whitish. And let's erase the excessive, the excess. Sure. Let's alpha lock this layer, and some of the cables are too bright, so I'll just like tone them down a little bit. Okay, and I will add a little bit more, and we are probably done with this. Strange here. Look it, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this brush is set to darken, so I set it to normal and make this wire a little bit more grayish. Okay. This is probably done. I'll let it rest for like a few hours or something, and then see it again if there's something I need to fix, but I don't think so. This thing here is kind of okay. Okay, actually, I will show you the photo reference for this. So as you can see, this is a vertical photo, but I wanted to do something that looks like an animation background, so I wanted to do the horizontal thing. So I redrew it with horizontal perspective and everything. And I had one more, few more photos of the same place, and one more photo of the shop that's on the right. So I used those photos to make this. But I did not paint over or anything, just sketched from the beginning and then painted over a sketch. Okay, so this is this. I will compile a short video on my YouTube channel for this, along with the brushes that I used for this project. So I will upload the brushes I used for this to my Gumroad, and they will be 0+, so you'll be able to download them just like for free if you want to. And yeah, I already have one set of my brushes on Gumroad, the watercolor brushes that you can download. But I will download this set also, and I made and modified kind of probably 7-8 brushes. I will choose from this one, and I'll upload the set to my Gumroad account. Okay, thank you for hanging out with me so long. It's been 2 sessions for 3 hours on YouTube, and probably another like 7-8 hours off the camera. So I'm really happy that you came and you shared your time with me. If you have any questions and stuff, you will be able to comment under this video. So thank you for coming, and thank you for watching the stream and kind of chatting with me today. See you in my next live stream and on my YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. Thank you very much. Have a good night.